We have a very, very special guest with me here today. Vintage dealer and owner of luxury vintage and consignment store, Recess LA, and also a dear friend of mine, Marrin Monsod.
Hi.
Thanks for being here.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Oh my gosh, you look fabulous as always. Marie's wearing this incredible black silk blouse and a ton of gold jewelry, which she put on for me, which I'm so honored.
Of course.
Very on brand for both of us. And then denim pants and these adorable Gucci, like patriotic rhinestone shoes with like a hint of green. If you aren't my spirit animal, I don't know who is. It's so good. How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Excellent. There's, just a calm Wednesday.
Yeah, exactly.
In the middle of construction.
Right.
Of your
during a pandemic.
Yeah, just, your average Wednesday.
Exactly.
So I have so many questions for you. And selfishly, I was saying to you earlier, this is exciting for me because we have only known each other through the guise of my jewelry brand and your clothing brand or your clothing store, and only known each other as adults. So now we get to dig in and find out more about, the past life of Marie, or the past lives of Marie. And my middle name is Marie, so I've always felt close to you. Yes.
Oh my gosh. I didn't know that.
I've only met people with middle names
It's always a middle name.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So, fun fact.
Cool.
What was little Marie like?
She was daring. She was curious. I grew up mostly as an only child, and I had boy cousins. And so we did all boy things. So we would, collect bugs, and we were curious and would literally take a magnifying glass and put it to a fly and see if it would burn. And it would. We used to do crazy things and get into so much trouble. One in particular that is so vivid in my memory is taking blankets and putting them on the staircase and taking one of my cousins, and putting him in a laundry basket and trying to slide him down
the stairs.
And we were just so curious. So we just did a lot of boy stuff. So I guess I was kind of tomboyish when I was a kid.
I love that. Well, you wouldn't know that.
Yeah.
You now,
yeah,
you're
exactly.
so beautifully blinged out and so stylish. When did your sense of style come to fruition?
I feel like I've always, been into it ever since I was a kid. My mom was sort of the biggest influence for me. She had such great style, such a fun closet, and I would go in there, and one dress in particular, I would always dream that when I got taller, I would wear that dress. It was black, and it had this amazing beaded cuff and beaded shoulders and just looked so dynasty. And she used to wear it to events. And so I remember that dress in my mind so clearly that one day I was going to have that.
I love that. What industry were your parents in?
So they were in real estate, which is another reason why I love vintage so much. And so I went to a lot of open houses with them, and I would literally have a notebook and collect all the open house flyers and hole punch them and put them in there and keep track of every house that we would visit. And then my dad got into working for the SEC, and my mom also worked for the city of Beverly Hills. So they were like government people.
And you're LA born and raised.
Yes.
So you're a unicorn.
Yes.
They don't make them like that very often. So have you lived anywhere else, or LA your whole life?
I only lived in Santa Barbara when I went to college there. Wow. And pretty much LA has been my life.
So you love LA. LA's been good to you.
Yeah, LA's been very good.
I love that. And did you guys stay in one area in LA, or did you move around?
Yeah, pretty much just around here. Mm-hmm.
Very cool. And we're in the Mid-City area right now.
Yes.
We're at my LA office in Mid-City, and Marie's beautiful store is 4 blocks walking
distance.
And I initially met you because I used to work out at a workout studio that was next door to you.
Yes.
And would strategically plan my workouts so that when I got out, you guys would be open.
Right.
And then it's just been this vintage love affair for 4-ish years, I want to say.
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't think that there's been a single photo shoot that I've done that I've either been in or produced since meeting you that hasn't had a piece from Recess LA. I'm actually wearing the first piece I ever bought from you.
I was going to say.
Yes, I'm wearing a cream colored kimono, and this is the first piece I ever bought from you.
Yeah, I remember this.
I mean, I can't even tell you how often I've worn this. What was your first memory of fashion?
So it was definitely my mom.
The dress.
Yeah, the dress.
Yeah.
And her glasses. I would put on her glasses. I would put on her heels. I just really loved playing in there. So definitely my mom. And I think going to open houses and going to antique stores, I was always just around it. So yeah.
I love that. So between finding, having a love affair with your mother's beautiful dress, beaded dress, and opening your showroom in 2010, what was the journey in between then like?
So I also wanted to be a lawyer. So I never thought that vintage would ever be my career. But I've always loved anything that, required being creative. So I love baking and cooking, and, interior design is a big thing. So that was always on like the back of my, head, like as just like more fun hobby, kind of thing. And then never thought that it could like be a career. I'm Filipino, so my family is very, school oriented and job oriented. And but I was really interested in law, so I actually majored in law and society at UCSB, and I was going to go that route. And while working at my law firm as a paralegal, it just was pulling me to be creative and do something in fashion. And I was going to actually start like my own line with a friend who was dating my cousin at the time. And then my cousin actually passed away from a motorcycle accident, and it just completely changed everything. So because I have always loved vintage, I thought, you know what, maybe this is what I'm going to get into. And so I chose not to start a clothing line and chose vintage instead. And so yeah.
How old were you?
This was over 12 years ago now.
12 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And had you already had your own personal vintage collection? Had you been?
Definitely.
Okay. I assume so.
Yeah. I definitely have been collecting for a long time for myself. And funny enough, I was at a flea market, and there was this really fun beaded top, and it was way too small for me, but it was something that I was like, oh my God, if I had a vintage store, this is exactly what I would have in there. So I literally bought it and came home, showed my husband Ian, and said, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm just gonna open a vintage business. And he looked at me and was like, okay. And
I can see him in my mind's eye saying that to you.
And he's like, okay, well, you're gonna need a lot more than that one top.
Mm-hmm.
So then I just started collecting and collecting and collecting, and the next thing you know, I'm opening a studio, and
which ironically is around the corner from where
right
we are
here.
now.
Yeah, exactly.
That's insane.
Yeah.
How long have you and Ian been together?
We have been together collectively for 19 years.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And this May will be 13 years.
Wow.
Yeah. That we've been married.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What's the secret sauce? Because you guys are married and you also work together.
Yes. What's the secret sauce? To be honest, we just really like being around each other.
I love that.
And he's so supportive of anything I want to do. I was really supportive when he was in the bar world. And I don't know, we just really respect each other's goals and ambition. And I think that's sort of like the main ingredient, is just respecting each other. And of course we have our moments.
As we all do.
But yeah, he's just been like a really big fan of anything that I wanted to do.
One thing that I really appreciate of you both is that I can tell you have fun doing what you do. And I think that the environment is the variable. I think that you guys and your outlook on life and how you approach your situations or your circumstances is why you guys have so much fun. It is always a joy to be around you, even just to watch you on social media. I'm like, they're just having the best time. They're doing the most mundane or like the worst task ever and having the best time. It's so fun.
Yeah, we really do. The whole point of calling the store Recess is because this is supposed to be like your fun time as an adult, like to come in and dress up and play with fun stuff. And so that's why we actually call the store Recess, because we just have so much fun.
As a client of yours, I can speak to that wholeheartedly. That is what it feels like.
Yeah.
It feels like, you know, an escape from reality and this fun environment where you can just be anything you want to be. Yeah. It is like grown-up dress up.
It is. It's just grown-up dress up.
It's the best.
Yeah.
How long before Ian was part of your company?
So like I said earlier, Ian used to actually be in the whole bar world.
I had no idea.
Yeah. So
because he's such a good model now for you.
Yeah, he's a great model. He has a great body. But yeah, no. So Ian, his whole life started when he was basically 14 on the Sunset Strip. Started working at the Viper Room.
Wow.
Yes. Doing like, because he was 14, so he couldn't obviously be on the main floor. So he would literally do, you know, odds and ends and clean and all of that, and just loved it so much and learned the business and worked so many places all over Hollywood, and ultimately ended up owning the Key Club for 4 years. And then that ended, and was opening up a bar on Melrose. And the day of inspections, he was hit by a car on Melrose, and that completely changed his life. This is about 7 years ago now, 7 years ago.
I'm so glad he's okay.
Yeah. So it was a long recovery. He had to have full fusion back surgery, and it was a tough recovery. And being in that world, you're on your feet all day. You're dealing with customers. You're open, you know, not only during, you know, bar hours, which goes into 2, 3, and 4 in the morning, but then you're there in the morning for administrative and all of that stuff. So it just was really taking a toll. So he decided to leave the industry, which was a big decision for him. And at that time, my business was starting to really grow, and I needed help. And it just kind of worked out that he was going to come into the business and leave that world and join mine.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And you guys haven't looked back.
And we haven't looked back. Yeah.
That's incredible. So what point of your career was that? Were you still in the showroom?
So the showroom was, okay, so I've been doing this for about 11 years. Mm-hmm. The first 4-ish years was at the studio. I decided to open Recess. This July will be 8 years ago.
Incredible. Same location.
Same location. And so 8 years ago.
Incredible. Why this area?
So I really felt like there wasn't a vintage store / consignment store in this area. We've traveled to so many places, and I just felt like there wasn't a store like that here. So I decided to close the studio and be a brick and mortar, to be open to the public.
What was the format of the studio? So it wasn't open to public. It was appointment only?
It was appointment only, yeah.
Were you loaning product out, or was it for purchase?
It was for purchase. Yeah, it was for purchase. And I was doing vintage shows.
Oh, okay.
Around LA, which is how I built my clientele.
Amazing. Mm-hmm. And you still do some vintage shows as well.
Yeah, so I definitely do vintage shows. I'm a part of A Current Affair and Pickwick.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Which I went and visited you a couple weekends ago. I really just stalk you guys.
I know, right?
Where are Marie and Ian going to be this weekend? Let's go there. What advice do you have for people working with their significant others?
I really feel like you have to respect each other's decisions. And also, you know, for Ian and I, when we're at the store and it's business. And whatever decisions we make are for the good of the store, regardless if one of us disagrees. It's always for the benefit of the business. And I think that's sort of the main thing. At the end of the day, he respects my decisions. You know, he always says, you know, you're the boss. And you know, it's like, again, it's just like that support. You know,
he said the sweetest compliment of you the last time I was in the store, because I assumed that you guys were partners in the business, and he goes, "Oh, she's the boss. I'm the intern. I'm the unpaid intern." I was like, "Ian, you are just too much."
Slash model.
Most importantly, he is the face of Recess.
Yes,
it's so good. What does your team look like now?
So we used to have a larger team. Obviously, during the pandemic, we had to close down. And so currently it is Ian and I and our now friend Erica, who is literally in charge of our entire e-commerce department. And recently we just hired an employee that we had working for us 2 years ago.
Amazing.
So yeah.
Amazing. Well, I mean, you would never know it. I mean, what you guys do, it seems like there's a massive machine behind it.
Oh my God.
You must work your tails off.
We really do. It's 24/7.
All the time?
Yes.
Do you take weekends?
No. So unfortunately, we don't. Especially during the pandemic, it was just Ian and I. You know, we were able to open in June, which was great. And it was literally us in the store every single day. And we used to be open Monday through Sunday, but now on Sundays we decided, okay, we do need that day. However, it becomes work.
Correct.
Yeah.
But behind the scenes stuff that you can't necessarily get done during the week.
Exactly.
I remember working in retail and just thinking, I don't know how you guys do it, because when you're on the floor, you're on, and you're, you know, catering to your customers and you're clienteling and you're organizing the store, but that's not really the work. There's so much work that goes into producing and creating that storefront.
Exactly.
And making it function.
Yeah, exactly. So it's, you know, it's a lot of customer service. It's, you know, making sure that inventory is, you know, kept well. You know, there's so many things to keep track of. And so, yeah, a lot of it will happen when the store's closed, and we'll be there working for a few hours, you know.
One thing that I really respect about you so much, and that makes me, I mean, I adore you obviously as a human, and your product is incredible. Your eye is unparalleled. But what I love so much about the environment that you created is that you make all of your customers feel like they are the most important people when they come into your store. And then it's almost like a personal shopping experience, but you know, pre-pandemic when the store was packed, it still was this one-on-one experience with you and your staff. So where does that come from? And where did that knowledge come from to know how to do that? Or is it just your God-given gift?
I don't know. I guess it's just something that I have, that I am able to, you know, it's weird. If I'm at a grocery store and someone is looking for something, for some reason they come up to me and ask for my help. So maybe it's because I'm approachable. I don't know what it is, but you know, I definitely am grateful to anyone who even comes into the store. And so I just feel like I want to give everyone attention and make sure they're getting the help that they need. And also because it's vintage and one of a kind, and there's only one of everything. So you kind of have to, you know, ask what they need or if they need any help, because it's not just going into a regular store where there's tons of sizes or, you know.
Right.
So just, I feel like attention to detail is something that I have. So I think I carry that on to, you know, people.
I love that.
Or
I mean,
customers.
It shows. I mean, I see it and I feel it as your customer, and also as someone who like observes, you know, you from afar.
And definitely because a lot of my customers have now become my friends. It sort of becomes a little bit of a social, you know, hour when someone comes in and I want to see how they're doing and where they wore that dress and all of that. So.
I mean, I feel like I've lived so many lives since I've known you. It's crazy to think that like I've been through so much, and Recess has been alongside that journey. And the clothes that I have are also part of those memories. It's like a very special connection that I have.
It is. And there is a special connection to vintage. And that's the reason why we love it so much. You know, there's that piece that speaks to you that you didn't know you were going to find. And it just can make your event or, your occasion or whatever it is, your just everyday, wardrobe, different and unique.
You have such a knowledge for vintage. When did you start studying the history of vintage?
It just sort of came along once I, got into the business. So I would get a piece and research it and learn about the designer. And because I love it so much, I want to know the history behind it. And it just sort of happens. It just sort of happens when you're in it,
I love that. Do you outsource anything within your business, or is it pretty much everything done in-house?
So pretty much everything is done in-house.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely go sourcing for things. But yeah, pretty much it's our team that is handling the business.
I'd love to talk about sourcing and your buying trips and what that looks like, because I have a vague idea based on my own buying trips for materials and manufacturers in jewelry. But I would love to know like what a day in the life on a trip, buying trip looks like.
They're a lot of work, but they're so much fun. One of the places we love going to is Japan, for instance. And, anywhere we go, really, we have a schedule. So, Monday is, okay, so we map it out. Tuesday, we map it out. And then we always leave room for a really fun dinner at the end of each day.
I love watching those stories when you guys are out eating at all the fun places.
We love it. Yeah.
The best.
Yeah.
How long are your trips normally?
It just varies, but pretty much like 4 or 5 days. And then Japan's longer, like 10 days.
So fun. And when you say map it out, are you do you have private appointments? Do you have stores that you go to?
Yeah. So there's stores that we go to. There can be appointments that happen along the way once we're meeting people, and flea markets as well. So yeah.
So fun. So does Japan have amazing flea markets?
So Japan flea markets are interesting. They're mixed. Like any other flea market, there's furniture, houseware, clothing. They don't really have a ton of vintage that you would think. A lot of kimonos, but they do have specific markets for vintage dealers, kind of like how you have here.
Fascinating.
So they're more shows, not necessarily flea markets.
Oh, I see.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of shows and vintage vendors in Los Angeles, it is such a joy to watch the community that is behind the vintage dealers and the vintage store owners in the greater LA area. You guys are so supportive. And as someone in the fashion industry, it's not common. It's a very unique niche of people who are truly supportive of each other and want each other to succeed. And it's not as cutthroat as the industry that I'm in, for example.
Right.
Can you speak to that a little bit more?
Yeah, definitely. It's because I think we all share a common interest, which is that we really appreciate and love what we do. I mean, we have such a passion for vintage. So I think that's what connects us all. And, we understand what it takes to run this kind of business. It's not easy because, we can't just manufacture and, call and place an order and they get delivered.
Right.
We literally have to source them and fix, clean, there's a lot of things involved. And that's a lot of energy into one piece. And, and if you have an online presence, you're photographing that one piece and how many hours go into that one piece. So I think that we support each other in a sense of, when somebody has something amazing, you just can't help but be happy for that person and appreciate what they have. There is competition though, it's a competitive world because there's, again, like I said, you can't just call and make these pieces. So you literally have to, find them and it's tough.
Where do you get your competitive nature from?
I think since I was a kid, I've always been competitive.
From the tomboy days.
Exactly. Whether it's playing a game, video games with my cousins. I was very like I had to win. Yeah, I definitely started as a kid.
I love that. Does Ian have that competitive strand as well?
It's different.
It's a different type.
Yeah, it's different. He does, but not like me.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, fashion versus the restaurant industry. I grew up in the restaurant industry, so that resonates with me a lot. I can see how he was part of that based on, how he creates that community within the space for sure.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. Yeah, I definitely have the competitive side of me too.
Definitely.
And do you find that you're competitive with other people or more with yourself?
I think it's a combination. I'm definitely hard on myself and competitive with myself. And at the same time, like you said, the community is very supportive of each other, but there is competition too at the end of the day. We're all trying to, run a business. And so I think that's just like a natural part of running a business.
Right. And I applaud you so much for being able to pivot, an uncountable amount of times during the pandemic. Can you walk us through what that looked like and where you are kind of on the other side of it?
Yeah. So so pre-pandemic, the majority of our business was on the sales floor in the store. We've had an online presence for 5 years now, but we didn't, consider it like we considered it on the side, basically. And during the pandemic, we were like, okay, this is going to be the avenue to conduct business. So we put all our efforts into online, social media, really relying heavily on Instagram, which has been amazing. And my friend, Richard, who actually owns A Current Affair, had to pivot as well. And he was talking to me one day and said, I think we're going to have to do something like virtual. We can't have these shows anymore in person. So we're going to have to do something like that. And I remember telling him like, oh my God, I am not going to go on camera. I'm a very behind the scenes kind of girl. I do not go on camera. And I was like, I'll make Ian do it. And he was like, no. He's like, you're not going to make Ian do it. You are going to do it. And I was really nervous. I had to practice like the whole week before I went on and, write out what I was going to say. And I was so nervous. And now that I've done a few, it's definitely easier and easier. But yeah,
I think you're great at it.
I never saw myself doing virtual live shows ever.
Well, you're spectacular at it. And Ian, your model, is lovely as well.
Yeah. So that's definitely been a huge part of pivoting is relying on online and these virtuals and having to really put myself out there more than I ever would.
Totally. And with the store, how long were you guys closed?
We were closed for 3 months.
3 months.
So yeah, not too bad.
You really ramped up your online.
Yes.
And your online presence.
Definitely.
During that time. And now you're doing both.
Yes.
So now the online business is a full-fledged, beast in and of itself. And you're also open and you're also expanding.
Yes.
Explain. There's never a dull moment.
I know. So before the pandemic, we were actually going to take a space just a few doors down in the same building. We were, actually we took the space. I mean, we, started building it out, and then the shutdown happened, and we were like, okay, so we never even thought that we were going to get rid of that space. We thought we were going to still do it. We had no idea how long it would be. But then as time went on, we realized that it wasn't going to be such a smart move. So we gave up the space. And now fast forward to this January, the opportunity for us to open next door came about.
Literally directly next door.
Literally directly next door. We're sharing a wall. And so we saw this opportunity to take that space and combine both spaces. So it feels serendipitous and weird that we were trying to do it last year and now doing it this year, a year later. So yeah, it feels right.
Amazing. And you're not just expanding more your collection of clothing and shoes and accessories, you're also doing home.
Yes. So when I actually came up with the idea to be in this business, I wanted to have home on the left or right, have on one side, have, clothing on the other side, and then have a cafe in the middle. But that was obviously going to be a big undertaking. And for someone that was just going to be starting off, we started with the studio and then obviously recess. And so I, like I said earlier, have always loved homeware too, because I was exposed to it as a kid, going to antiques stores with my parents and going to open houses and going to flea markets. So I love it just as much as I do clothing. So we're going to do vintage like lights and small chairs, like nothing huge, more like decor for your home.
That's amazing. And I've seen little glimpses of your beautiful home on the interwebs. And I can't wait to see the things that you've curated in the store based on just what your beautiful home looks like.
Thank you. Yeah, we're excited too.
It's definitely an extension of the clothing. Like, yes. I see a similar aesthetic I can envision it in my mind, but I can't wait to see that come to life.
Yeah, it's definitely an extension.
And a little birdie told me that you're going to have a whole shoe department too.
We're going to try to have like a whole shoe wall. I don't know if that's going to happen, but yeah, it's part of the plan.
Incredible. Oh my gosh, it's incredible. So you have your team, you have your wonderful husband, you have your parents. Who else is in your support system?
I mean, those are pretty much the people that are involved in my day-to-day. Of course, I have some great friends that are very supportive. Richard, who I talked about, has been very supportive and such a good friend. You can bounce so many ideas and just talk about, because this is pretty much our life. So, we talk about it, and he's been a great friend.
I've yet to meet him, but I've heard from multiple sources how wonderful he is.
Yes.
And just like such an angel of a man.
He's such a good person.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love hearing that, especially in a crazy town like LA. I mean, I've found like some gems here, but there's good and bad.
Yeah, exactly.
So to find that the salts of the earth.
Yes.
It's such a blessing. What does your self-care look like? I know that's such a buzzword that we have, floating around, but how does Marie love on Marie?
So I don't really, as much as I love massages and, getting my nails done, I don't really have time for it, unfortunately. But I guess what I do really make time for is travel. Mm-hmm. That to me is my self-care and something that I like to invest in. It's just good for the soul, it's just good for everything. And immersing yourself in another culture and eating their foods and meeting people and, checking out their architecture. And we just love it so much.
And
so
it's so good to gain perspective and I'm sure it influences your store so much.
Definitely. Yeah. Perspective is a big thing.
Totally. When things open up fully again, where are you traveling?
So funny enough, we were saying that the first place we want to go to is Japan.
How many times have you been there?
We've been there 4 times, and we can't get enough of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
My family, my mom and her siblings and my grandparents lived in Japan for a couple of years when she was in high school.
So cool.
It's on my bucket list too.
Oh my gosh. You will love it.
I'm going to come back, so I think I'm going to wait till I go.
Yeah.
Right? What do your morning and evenings look like? Do you have a specific routine? I only ask this because you have such a grace about you and such a composure to your demeanor. So I'm like, how do I hack this? Like, I'm so inspired by you as a human. What does that look like?
Well, first, you're very sweet to say that. Honestly, it varies. I love running. So when we could go to the gym, I loved going to the gym and using that time to run and release and work out. Now we just run on the streets. because we can't go to the gym yet. But just your normal like breakfast and,
What's your breakfast like?
So funny enough, I'm really lucky because my parents live 5 houses down from me.
Incredible.
We didn't plan that at all. It just sort of happened. And, being Filipino, like I said earlier, they can't help but always want to cook for us. And so I'm just really lucky that, I have my mom to always have stuff for us.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We were talking earlier about how you're Filipina, my family's from Guam, I'm Chamorro, and so our cuisine is very similar.
Yes.
Very comparable. So we grew up eating the same things.
Yeah.
And, oftentimes you just don't ask what's in it. You just
right. Yeah, exactly.
Some things you know what they are, and other things you don't, and you just enjoy.
Exactly.
Don't ask questions.
Yeah.
Just nod and smile.
Yeah.
That's so funny. Does it feel like work doing what you do?
Some days, yeah. I mean, some days it does, feel exhausting, and, you feel like you're a little bit of a hamster, and, it's very exhausting because, as you know, with any business, it's on your mind 24/7. I mean, you wake up thinking about it. I honestly go to bed thinking about it.
It's your child.
It's my child. I'm on my phone answering emails and answering questions from DM messages, but at the same time, I love it. I wouldn't see it any other way. For the most part, we really don't feel like we're going to work. We feel like we're going to our store. We never know how our days are going to be, who we're going to meet, which has been honestly the most fun part of the business is meeting so many people, playing dress up with them, having what we joke, it's kind of like therapy, like for real therapy. When, some customers come in and we talk about their lives and maybe what they're going through and, just talk about normal everyday stuff, and they don't have to buy anything, and just having that, interaction with someone and, it's just so much fun.
If those walls could speak.
Oh my God, seriously.
Because you've been there for the entirety of your brick and mortar career.
Yeah, definitely.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
And you did have a co-owner in the beginning.
Yes. So we started together, but then she had a baby, and her family's in Texas. And so they decided to move back. So early on. So yeah, and
that was only a year.
That was only a year.
Only a year in, and then you've been the sole owner since 2014.
Mm-hmm.
And what did you buy her out? What did that look like?
We figured out, how to make it work best for both of us. That's because I was going to be taking on a whole new business on my own. So yeah.
That's amazing. Are you guys still in contact?
We were in contact, for a while, and just lately, the past few years or so, we just haven't really.
But on good terms.
Yeah, definitely.
That's so respectable.
Yeah, definitely.
That's
and
amazing.
The last few times I went to Dallas, I saw her. So yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. I love that. What keeps you going? Where does that strand of crazy come from?
Yeah, I don't know.
Where do you pull that from?
I've always had it.
Mm-hmm.
I've always had it. Even in college, partying the night before and then literally going at 8 a.m. to take, a midterm, or, I've just always had this drive in me. Yeah.
We're kindred spirits.
Yeah, exactly.
Work hard, party hard.
Mm-hmm.
Emphasis on the work hard.
Yeah, exactly.
And you feel like this is your calling?
Yeah, I definitely do. I feel like with how things panned out, with my friend and us not starting a clothing line, with my cousin passing, just everything, it just all kind of aligned to here. Mm-hmm.
That's amazing. Do you see yourself expanding Recess in perpetuity, or do you feel like this is the first of many different chapters?
I feel like this is definitely the first of many chapters. Should the opportunity present itself that I would have to go outside of Recess, I would be open to it. But I think we're definitely focused in making this our thing.
I love that. What does the future look like? I mean, you're expanding like crazy, but what does the future beyond the immediate future look like for Recess?
So, we talked about it a little bit earlier that, or you and I earlier, that Ian and I are actually planning on moving out of the country to Paris in like a couple of years, and hopefully opening a recess there. And because everything can be virtual too, doing virtual things and doing online, and, making sure that, we're still active here in LA, and we're planning on keeping recess here in LA and opening the store in Paris.
That's amazing. We were speaking earlier too, how the pandemic has given us so many challenges and so many curveballs, but it kind of gave us permission to make the decisions that we saw for our futures in, 5, 10 plus years.
Exactly.
And kind of pulled those timelines in. We reined them in, and we said, no, actually, we're going to give ourselves permission to do this in the short term.
Exactly. So this was sort of, actually, this was a 10-year plan for Ian and I to move. Again, like I said, we love traveling. What's so amazing when you're there is that you could take an hour flight and you're in Barcelona, a 2-hour flight and you're in Morocco. And because we love traveling so much, it's what we want to spend our lives doing. And when you're there, I feel like you just have access to so many amazing places.
It's also the lifestyle.
And the lifestyle, yeah. I've obviously lived here my whole life, and LA's not like New York, but it's definitely a hustle and a grind, and to kind of change the pace. And we're hoping we can do that there.
I love that. And you see yourself maybe not keeping the store in LA?
We actually see ourselves keeping the store in LA.
Incredible.
Yeah. And being kind of global.
Amazing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I love that. So
I know.
You're really going to be like hugely expansive. This is like
I hope so.
I assumed that you would take that storefront with you, but no, you're just going to open up more locations. And
yeah. We're, this is still our home base. LA is still home. It's always going to be home. So, I can see us being back here a lot, mm-hmm. and hoping that we can manage both. I hope.
I think you guys can do it.
I
it's
hope
a matter
so.
of just
figuring it out,
mm-hmm. as we always do.
Yeah, and there's something about this building and
this neighborhood.
So special. Yeah, exactly. So, and all of our customers here, it's like I wouldn't want to lose all of that.
Totally.
So,
and your business here is pretty turnkey, I would say. I mean, you've got your systems down.
Yeah, we have it down for sure.
Are you a naturally organized person?
Yes.
Do you have, what systems are behind the scenes of Recess that make your world tick?
I just keep a really amazing, Excel spreadsheet of everything, from a sale being a resale sale to a shipped sale, on obviously my whole entire inventory. The inventory that I source is a different list than the inventory from our consigners. You have to be really detail oriented in this business.
Very much so, because you're dealing with one-on-ones.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you ever had a piece go missing?
Yes, definitely.
That's what nightmares are made of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and stolen for sure.
Oh shit.
Mm-hmm. It happens. Yeah, it happens.
What happens when that happens?
So, if it's my piece, and that's great. If it's a consignor piece, honestly, I just feel terrible about it. So,
usually pay them out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's just like the nature of the business.
Yeah. I call it like the broken glass or broken plate. It's gonna happen.
Totally. Yeah. My parents are both entrepreneurs, but my dad said it's the price of rice.
Exactly. Yeah. It's the price of doing business. There's going to be expenses and costs. So It's just part of it.
What is the biggest expense in your business right now?
I would say the biggest expense is inventory. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. How many pieces do you think you have on hand?
I don't even know.
Thousands.
Yeah. I don't even know.
A lot.
Yeah.
How many do you think that you churn through on a daily basis or a monthly basis? I'm not sure how you track your inventory.
Yeah. So we have a software that keeps track of all of that.
Cool.
It's funny. I've actually never looked to see how many pieces we've sold in a month. I more look at how much we sold that month. But it's a lot. Yeah. Yeah.
What was your biggest month to date of your, not necessarily the number, but what was that moment like for you?
Our biggest month.
Like, was there an aha moment where you were like, oh, this is incredible. This is where I'm supposed to be?
I guess it would have to just be where we, had a really amazing sales month.
Mm-hmm.
And it's also a combo, honestly, of like people we've met, some crazy designers that, you would never think you would meet. And, doing these amazing vintage shows and having a really amazing killer show and meeting so many people. It's sort of like a combination of all of that, where you just feel like this is definitely what I'm meant to do.
Yeah. A collection of little wins.
Yeah, it's like a collection of wins. Yeah, exactly.
I love that. What was the most impactful client that you've had? And that can even be like celebrity to just someone who brought you the most insane collection of goods. What was?
Again, it's like a combination of like an amazing closet to go through. I had one.
You had one recently that was.
I had one recently that was really insane.
Racks and racks and racks of clothes, and like all of them winners. I remember looking at your stories.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. She was a lady who lived till 99.
Wow.
And had very amazing style. But yeah, I mean, it's honestly, again, like a collection. I can't really.
And you work with a lot of stylists as well. I mean, your stuff ends up on television and the biggest shows and music videos and the biggest stars. And
yeah, it's fun to see.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's so fun to see.
I feel like similarly, when my pieces are featured on a big celebrity, I get just as much joy as someone, a client of mine coming in and finding, a little, like even the least expensive piece in my collection, but makes them feel so good.
Yeah,
to
exactly.
Me, it's the same rush that I get, and I feel like you're the same way in that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I just am thinking about, one of my clients. Her name is Lucy, and
I love that name.
Yes, and she's she actually was a celebrity, but she's honestly one of our most favorite customers. I mean, she's a friend to us now, and just when I hear her voice come through that back door, it just changes the room and it changes our energy. And we could be having a really, just exhausting kind of day, where things just feel like it's hard and it's not,
you're not moving the needle
just,
today.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And she'll just come in and she literally lights up the room and, we'll just talk and, she'll say, okay, well, all right, guys, she has this kind of a Southern accent, show me what's new. Let me see what's new. Put it out there for me. And we just have a lot of fun.
I love that. And you know your client style so well. I mean, I think that even when I come in, you guys are like, oh, you should try this.
Yeah.
Or like, how about this pleated pants?
Definitely.
It's like, oh, my people.
And I really have a relationship with all of these pieces. So when someone asks me, do you have this? And I go through the inventory and I'm like, yes, we do. Or no, we don't, because I just know my pieces so well.
And you also track it with your amazing Excel spreadsheet.
Oh my God, you have to. It's
I
major.
have a love-hate relationship with Excel.
So do I.
Yeah.
I know.
It's so good, but my goodness, is it a thorn in my side?
It is a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
What other systems do you guys use? You're on Shopify, yes?
Yes, we're on Shopify, which thank God for Shopify, to be honest, or all these other online platforms that create a store for you. Mm-hmm. You literally purchase the store inexpensively, by the way, and are able to build your site. And I mean, obviously there's glitches and there's things that happen, but for the most part, it's been really easy to use and just so user friendly. So yeah, we love Shopify.
I use it as well. I mean, it's been a godsend.
Yeah.
Where did your branding come from? Like the logo and the black and white. I mean, it's very classic, but where did that, you have your specific iconography.
Yeah, exactly. That, I don't know if you are familiar with Dover Books or Dover Publications. They came out with these books with symbols, and from, let's say, Baroque to Japanese, and they're free and you can use their symbols. And I literally geeked out and went through 1,000 images and somehow picked that one. And also because you can't really tell exactly if it's a girl, if it's a boy, and I don't know, and he was wearing or she was wearing earrings. So it just sort of spoke to me because I love earrings so much. So I went with that one.
I love that. And you came out with a line of earrings.
So I'm going to, hopefully.
You're going to?
Yes,
okay.
I'm going to, hopefully. I started the process during the pandemic, but then it got hard to continue because we had to be open at the store every single day. So it's on pause for now, but it's definitely going to be coming.
I can't wait for them. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
I mean, you know how I feel about jewelry, and a chandelier earring is just everything.
Yeah.
How would you describe your personal style?
I feel like I'm very eclectic because I just love all periods. There's nothing I don't like. And so, you know, some days I'm in the mood for all black, and some days I want to be colorful and just wear a hot pink sweater.
I loved that hot pink sweater on you a couple times ago. I was like, yes, that color on you, Marie.
Yes. So, and then sometimes I love wearing all my gold jewelry and rings every day, all day on all my fingers. But then I love like a good, large, chunky turquoise piece as well. So it just really depends.
Iconic Marie has a ring or multiple rings on every finger. When did you create that aesthetic for yourself?
I don't know. It just sort of started happening. Like I started building the collection, and it just sort of happened. Of course, it doesn't help that I'm friends with Larry from Platt Boutique, who has amazing jewelry. And so when you're just around it all the time, you just want to pile it on.
Suddenly they end up on your hands. They won't come off.
They're everywhere. I need more fingers.
Seriously. Do you switch them out often?
I actually do. Yeah.
Do you?
I do switch them out. Yeah, like recently I just acquired this one ring that I'm wearing from Ian's father who just passed away. And this one is actually from Larry.
Thanks, Larry.
Yeah. And so, yeah, I just, you know, when I source and hunt and go to estates or whatever, if a piece calls to me, I you know, I can't help but pick one up. And so, yeah.
That's so cool. What does your ring collection look like?
I probably have like 10 more rings in addition to this.
I mean, they're spectacular and they're all so unique.
Yeah, they're fun.
What is your favorite time period of vintage?
That's a hard question because I really do love
it all.
Yeah, I love it all. And I really appreciate every era. So our store doesn't carry like the earlier stuff, like the Victorian or 20s or 30s. They're just so hard to come by. Also very fragile at this point. I used to carry 20s dresses when I first started, and it was just too hard to do. It was too hard to do. So, so we carry, you know, pretty much 60s and up. But if I had to really pick one era, I would really have to say I do love the 80s. I mean, it's just a lot of fun.
It's so fun. And the embellishments.
It's just crazy. You know, the puff shoulders and metallic. But then I love this. I mean, it's just tough. But yeah, the crazy, wacky, wide statement, studded belts and huge, insane earrings. And yeah, it was just gaudy and just a lot of fun.
Unapologetically gaudy.
Exactly. Just gaudy and fun.
I love that. What era do you find that your clients like the most?
I think it's so mixed.
Is it mixed as well?
Yeah, it's very mixed. What I think is so fun is that we have so much fashion behind us. So anything goes nowadays. And I think we're very lucky to have experienced all these decades of fashion, and that we now are able to mix and match and wear jeans with a 20s top or wear an 80s earring with, you know, a 60s dress. I mean, you can really honestly do whatever you want, which is fun.
One of the things that I think is so special about LA too is that it really supports the individual style of the person. I mean, you could walk down the street wearing a garbage bag and people would be like, good on you.
Yeah.
Like, you look great.
Yeah.
Live your best life.
Exactly.
And for me, at least, developing my own personal style in Los Angeles and with the assistance of Recess LA, it's just this really cool fashion community where you can truly wear anything you like.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's just so fun for you in helping your clients, because everyone is so unique.
Yeah.
And everyone loves what they love, and that could be across the board.
Yeah, exactly. And also, what's fun is, sometimes people who come in aren't necessarily bold to wear something like a beaded jacket to dinner, but after, trying it on at the store and seeing that it can be pared down with jeans or, a simple slack and a t-shirt and Converse, it all of a sudden feels wearable. And I can't tell you how many clients I have pushed, but in a good way, to just go for it and have fun with it, because they'll say, oh God, I love this, but when would I ever wear it? I'm like, you just wear it. Life is too short. You just got to go for it.
You said the same thing to me the other day.
Exactly.
High-waisted, black.
Exactly.
Maxi skirt with sequins everywhere. And I'm like, Marie, where in the world am I going in this? And you're putting tennis shoes on and a t-shirt and you're going everywhere.
Exactly.
It's like, done.
Yeah, exactly. You're putting a slit in it because we thought that would look better.
Yes.
And you're wearing it with Converse and you're wearing it with like a cute little bodysuit.
And all the jewels. Done.
And all your jewelry, and that's an outfit. And it's fine that it's sequined.
It's even better.
That it's sequined. Yeah.
The best.
We get stuck wearing casual,
athleisure.
Literally like everyone's in Lululemons.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, no.
You gotta have fun.
No, you gotta have fun with it.
Gotta have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Where can our listeners find you outside of the radio show?
At my store.
Yes.
Because I live there.
Uh-huh.
But obviously on our Instagram and our website.
And Recess LA is on La Brea in Los Angeles.
Exactly.
And the Instagram is Recess LA.
Yes.
Online. Amazing.
Yes.
And recessla.com.
Yes. recessla.com, Recess LA Instagram, and just at the store.
Incredible. Well, you continue to inspire me. Thank you so much for being here and sharing your story. I don't want this show to end.
I know. We could go on and on.
I know, it's so true. And good luck with all of the expansions and construction with the store.
Thank you so much. I can't wait for you to see it. Good luck with your move.
Thank you. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, definitely.
I love it. Oh my goodness, I cannot believe how fast that hour went by. Thank you so much to Marie and to Recess LA for joining us on this show. Thank you to our production team at Island City Media Group. Be sure to tune into the broadcast at Dash Radio and the podcast on Spotify each week. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and connect with me on social media at Marrin Costello and Marrin Costello Radio. Thanks so much for tuning in. See you guys next week.